revisit and have certain resolutions, and just join in this like loving creative spirit. We'd love to talk to you, and you know what this is about.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel and Sony have revealed more plans for Spider-Man 4, and it turns out it involves Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's versions of Spider-Man returning, in addition to Kingpin and Daredevil, which sounds totally crazy. I would not have expected Tobey and Andrew to come back so soon based on the way they ended Spider-Man No Way Home with that tag scene of him leaving his new apartment.
We should do this again, like, all hang out.
It's nice.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, it's a good idea. I'll just grab your number at the end of the battle.
You got it.
I know there's a ton of questions about what this means, so we'll break it all down. It turns out it's part of some of the larger issues that Marvel is having with Sony behind the scenes about exactly what the story of the movie is going to be and how this is going to play out through Secret Wars. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There is a bunch of Spider-Man stuff happening really soon. Like we do have that Madam Web movie. It will be full Morbin time. We've also got Venom 3, the Kraven movie, and that Spider-Man freshman year TV series, which now they're calling Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, with a version of Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Benedict Cumberbatch coming back. There's a lot of MCU stuff happening during that, but it's meant to be a multiverse show, so we should start getting trailers for that stuff later this year. But based on current events, they're on track to release Spider-Man 4 in 2026. It would have been 2025, but all the strikes delayed everything about a year. And the real news everyone's talking about this week is Marvel and Sony's competing plans for the actual story of the movie, completely different stories. And it turns out it's Sony who apparently wants to make Spider-Man 4 another major multiverse movie with universe-ending consequences, bringing back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as main characters in the movie with way more scenes than they had in Spider-Man No Way Home. Like they'd be much bigger characters in the movie in general. This is actually Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield talking about coming back.
I don't want to say like close the chapter, but revisit and have certain resolutions, and just join in this like loving creative spirit.
I fought an alien made out of black goo once.
Oh, no way. I fought an alien too.
I want to fight an alien.
So when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man teased that he wanted to fight an alien after Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland referenced his Venom in Thanos, Sony was intending on paying that off in Spider-Man 4, apparently. And it turns out part of the reason why Sony wants things to go this way is so that they can actually just say that Tom Holland is the Spider-Man of all their Sony spin-off movies like the Venom universe. They want to connect those Venom movies, all those spin-off movies that are happening in that separate universe with everything in the MCU. So even though they already kind of canonized the larger Spider-Verse, like every Spider-Man movie to the larger MCU multiverse, Sony wants to make that more of like a literal thing where you see Tom Holland's Spider-Man showing up in all their spin-off movies. A lot of us expecting them to try to pay that off during like Venom 3 or during one of the Sony Spider-Man movies, like just put Andrew Garfield in the Sony Spider-Man movies and make him the Spider-Man of that Venom universe. But it sounds like this is the real reason why they had that Venom crossover in the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene. And originally, Tom Hardy's Venom was supposed to be a bigger crossover character in the movie. If you don't know about the deleted scenes, I've done a couple videos about this a couple years ago after the movie came out in theaters. Originally, Tom Hardy's Venom was actually meant to be in that final fight at the Statue of Liberty. He was going to travel to New York City, so when he's telling the bartender in that post-credit scene, I should really go to New York City and talk to this Spider-Man about all these problems. In the original version of the movie, before they got Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to sign on to the film, Tom Hardy was going to be a much bigger character, sort of filling the gaps left by Tobey and Andrew. He would have had a bunch of actual scenes with Tom Holland's Spider-Man on screen. So that's basically how they were going to give the Spider-Man symbol to the Venom symbiote. They were actually going to share scenes together in that big final fight. That's also why you saw all the deleted scenes of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the symbiote suit. Turns out that's how he was going to get the symbiote. And now they're making it sound like Sony wants to go full symbiote saga with Tom Holland's Spider-Man starting in Spider-Man 4 instead of waiting till later movies and just have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield be part of that. You have to picture Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man remembering everything from Spider-Man 3, like, I've been through a version of this before, like, yes, we've done all this, this is how you deal with this symbiote. The funny thing about this, too, is Sony actually kind of set up some interesting twists connecting Tobey Maguire's Venom with Tom Hardy's Venom. Some of you probably realized this after the last Venom movie came out. During the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene, the symbiote implied that all symbiotes share a hive mind across the multiverse.
80 billion light years of hive knowledge across universes would explode your tiny little brain.
So the symbiote makes it sound like it had access to and knows all the memories from Tobey Maguire's Venom in Spider-Man 3. They're not the same symbiote, but because they share memories across the multiverse, Tom Hardy's symbiote remembers the events of Spider-Man 3 as if it were him there doing all those things. And that's why he remembered Spider-Man when he had his mask on and saw him on television.
Until we've uncovered the behind his web of lies.
The whole idea is that he didn't know who Tom Holland was, but he did recognize the Spider-Man suit. That's why he said, "that guy." During the theatrical cut of Spider-Man No Way Home, you just see Tom Hardy's Venom having already been pulled to the MCU by Doctor Strange's first spell, paying off the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene when that spell would have actually happened, like we're seeing the spell go down in his post-credit scene. And the bar here is meant to be in Mexico. That's where the hat is, because that's where he was in the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene. Like, that's where this beach was. So it was like he just wandered to the hotel bar after getting yoinked to the MCU. He leaves a piece of the symbiote as Doctor Strange's second spell sends him and everyone else back to their original universes, and they reveal that the symbiote is alive and moving on its own, treating it kind of like the child of the Venom symbiote in the way that Carnage was, like a totally different personality from Tom Hardy's Venom. If you didn't realize too, I think this is to set up the idea that Tom Holland can actually be the voice of his version of the Venom symbiote. What they did with the new Tom Hardy Venom movies is they established that Tom Hardy himself does the voice of his Venom, and they just alter the voice to make it sound like an alien voice. So when they got to Venom Let There Be Carnage, they did the same thing with Woody Harrelson in Carnage. He did the voice of the Carnage symbiote, and they just altered it a little bit so that it sounded more alien. So you have to picture Tom Holland's voice sounding all flanged up and alien. And at least originally, I think most of us assumed Marvel and Sony would just pay off that little symbiote piece there in some future movie, with no definitive answer on when that movie would happen. I think at the time, most of us assumed that Marvel would take him back to basics and he'd be more of a street-level friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in Spider-Man 4, just the way they ended that movie. And I think most of us agree that they'd probably be better off waiting till Avengers Secret Wars to give Tom Holland the symbiote so they could be more comic book accurate, because that's how he got the symbiote originally. Like, why not just do the comics? But apparently this drama between Marvel and Sony right now, Kevin Feige wants Spider-Man 4 to be a more ground-level, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie with a brand new Spider-Man villain from the comics, and then Kingpin and also Daredevil. But on the other side of things, Sony wants the movie to be this huge multiverse Avengers-level film again, with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back. Like, if you thought that Spider-Man No Way Home was a big deal, they want to escalate things even further, bringing back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I think in Kevin Feige's version of Spider-Man 4, Tobey and Andrew don't come back until at least Secret Wars. There might be some Easter eggs in Deadpool 3, like some funny Easter eggs from their Spider-Man movies, but I don't think they actually appear on screen until Secret Wars. But here's the problem. You have to remember that Marvel and Sony share control of Spider-Man, so it's not as simple as just one of them deciding what's going to happen. The powers that be actually have to agree in a room what the movie's going to be pretty soon. They have to actually start working on the movie pretty soon if they want to get it out by 2026. So let me know in the comments, would you rather have a big multiverse-level Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back in a bigger way, more symbiote saga stuff, more full-blown Sinister Six, or would you rather have a more ground-level Spider-Man 4 with Daredevil, Kingpin, and maybe a couple new Sinister Six characters? In fact, what they should probably do is just have Kingpin be the person to hire the Sinister Six inside the MCU and put that team together. Kevin Feige did say that Daredevil Born Again was going to influence the plot of Spider-Man 4, and if he's going to be mayor of New York City, he's going to have a lot of power. It would actually be a fairly simple thing for them to do to say that he's going to hire all those villains.
I think people would dig seeing Kingpin and Spider-Man and Daredevil going at it in a film. And
besides all the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield stuff, we have learned more about what's actually going on with the movie. Zendaya is coming back as her version of MJ, should be a main character again, despite Doctor Strange's spell and everything that happened in the Spider-Man No Way Home ending and post-credit scenes. A lot of people online were confused by this detail, like, wait a minute, what? Does that mean that the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home doesn't mean anything now? Why is she still a main character if Peter had all memory of their past together erased from her mind to protect her? Like, literally, she has no idea that Peter Parker as a person exists in the movie, just because they couldn't think of a way fast enough to fix the tears in the multiverse without erasing all knowledge of him from everyone's minds. So bringing her back in the story as a main kind of walks that twist back, just slowly. It means that they'll continue being around each other, whether he plans to be around her or not. She'll just continue to be part of his orbit while he's trying to be Spider-Man and be Peter Parker and go to college during the day. Early theory is that he'll probably wind up having to save her a couple of times, and he'll be around her during the day, and things between them will play out similarly to the way they did before, where she starts to notice weird inconsistencies and coincidences, and she figures out that he is Spider-Man all by herself again. We'll probably learn more about the movie pretty soon, and we'll probably get trailers for that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man TV show and the other Spider-Man related movies that are happening pretty soon. I will do at least a couple videos for Madam Web. Who knows what's going to happen with that movie? We'll probably get a new Kraven trailer and a Venom 3 trailer after Madam Web comes out in theaters. There's all kinds of reports about how Madam Web has changed behind the scenes because there's like a young version of Uncle Ben. And don't worry, I'll get into that during more Madam Web videos because it sounds fascinating. Like, what is Sony thinking with this movie? What is going on here? If you thought all the Easter eggs in the Morbius trailers were confusing, don't you worry, it's going to get even worse during Madam Web. They just announced more Marvel Netflix Defenders characters coming back during Daredevil Born Again. Click here for that brand new teaser, and click here for my brand new Deadpool 3 video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.